I think it's safe to say that everybody wants a nice place to live in. Whether you're young or old, rich or poor, everyone wants their place to look nice. Everybody has their own personal tastes and styles, meaning that it's completely up to the individual what looks good to them. It is completely up to interpretation. But what if some design was just objectively bad? No way to spin it, it just sucks. Well, let me introduce you to the 90s home decorating show, Decorating Sense. Decorating Sense was a popular home improvement show that aired on HGTV from the years 1997 to 2008. Hosted primarily by Joan Steffand. The series focused on helping homeowners transform their living spaces on a modest budget, typically under $500. Each episode showcased creative and cost-effective decorating ideas. Emphasis on creative. Often making a lot of use of DIY projects, repurposing existing items, and shopping at secondhand stores. And more often than not, the results were terrible. Like really bad. Obviously times change and things go out of style, but I'm struggling to believe that any of this stuff was ever in style in the first place. Exhibit A. This older wooden kitchen was needing a fresh look. A renovation, if you will. A little bit of decorating. Sense. A little bit of decorating sense. Title of the show. So the hosts decide to give it a fresh coat of paint. Nothing a fresh coat of paint can't fix, right, huh? This is what's known as the landlord special. If your tenants are ever complaining about anything being broken or needing to be fixed, just paint over it. What's that? Your toilet's clogged? Just paint over it. It's now an ornament. So they apply the primer to the cupboards, which is what you put on before you actually put the color of choice onto whatever you're painting. So you would think that this isn't the finished product, right? Right?
And we have primer, but you can use paint if you wanted to.
You could use paint, you can use primer. We're using primer because it's just going to stick a little better to these unfinished cabinets, and then we're going to seal them with the polyurethane when we're done.
All right, so you could wash them.
Exactly. They'll be very durable.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Well, it certainly is a look, but to me, that look is shit. That is the finished product. They don't even use actual paint. That's it. It's done. They looked at that and said, yeah. You know what? That's good enough. The craziest part is that they didn't even paint under the cabinets. They were just like, yeah, well, we can't see it, so, why would we waste our time? Looks good for my house, am I right? We have a $500 budget. If they want to finish it, they can do it themselves, okay? And if they could do better, they wouldn't have hired us in the first place. They mentioned at the start that they usually take the doors off to paint them, but they decided to keep them on for a very casual, rustic look.
Normally, we would take the cupboard doors off to paint, but in this case, we decided to leave them on for a very casual, rustic look.
Going as far as to paint over the hinges a little bit on purpose to add to the look.
It plays to my skills.
Oh, I know, it's very easy and fast.
And I like that we get to paint over the hinges. It just adds to that rustic.
That's right. It's all part of that look.
But to me, it kind of seems like they were just running out of time, or that maybe they just couldn't be bothered to take them off. At least that's what I thought until the very next shot. They take the doors off anyway, and they cut a hole in them.
We're going to cut out the centers for a really rustic look.
What is going on here? Unfortunately, it's feeling like they're decorating without any sense. Am I right? Decorating sense, but it's not the sense, the number, like the money. It's sense like they don't have any sense of what they're doing. They're not being sensible, if you will. And you know what the worst part of all is? I will never know what the finished product looks like because I cannot find the rest of this episode anywhere. There is nowhere in Australia that streams this. I can't buy it from anywhere. I couldn't even get it the other way. The secret way that they don't want you to know about. All I know is that this is from season 5, episode 11. So please, if you end up watching this for yourself, please let me know what this looks like. I'd love to know. I'm sure it only gets worse from here. Now, this isn't the only time that they violated a space with a half-finished paint job. Let me introduce you to this white cabinet the two hosts allegedly found in the garage. It's explained that the homeowners don't have any bathroom storage, and they think that this would be a great solution to the problem. The only problem for them is its color. We can't just paint it white again. We can't give it a little touch up. No, we're gonna have to paint the whole thing a different color. So they found some red paint in the basement because of course they did. And they decided that they're going to use that paint on this cupboard. Okay, I get it. It's called decorating sense, not decorating dollars. That, they've got to work with what they have. They also have a few other items that they're going to add to the bathroom later that are also a similar color, so I get why they're painting it red. But it's how they paint it. Now that is what doesn't make any decorating sense. I know I used that joke just before, but I couldn't pass up using it a second time. Oh, fuck! I'm going to be honest. An extra coat of paint would have really gone a long way. I know that it's supposed to look like it's worn, but right now it just kind of looks like you put one coat of red paint you found in the basement on a white cupboard you found in the garage. Which, if that's what you're going for, then you kind of nailed it. Nice work. But the painting does not stop there. They paint the entire bathroom colonial yellow. Is there settler yellow? I have no idea. Painting just one room a completely different color to the rest of the house is definitely something that has fallen out of style. But this idea of painting walls yellow had an absolute chokehold on people back then. I'm sure a lot of you watching have at least one room in their house that is a similar color to this. The place that I just moved from actually had yellow walls, and even my childhood home had yellow walls. Although that was because I was pissing on them all the time. Honestly, I don't know what it was, because if I had the choice personally, I would probably not paint my walls yellow. But what do I know? Maybe I just don't have any decorating sense. We'll move on from this bathroom in a second, but I just wanted to point out one more thing. They took this item from their dining room.
We found this shelf in her dining room.
Do you know how annoyed I would be if I had a shelf in my living room and I was like, that's the living room shelf. And then I came home from getting my house renovated and I found that shelf in the bathroom screwed to the wall. Dude, get a different shelf. It's there for a reason. It's in the living room for a reason. What if their great grandma gave it to them before they passed on or something like that? What if it was a family heirloom and now it's their bathroom mantle? It is then decorated with a few things like a mirror and some rustic things to put their toothbrushes in. But let me introduce you to this lamp. How much do you think they paid for it? Because they describe it as a steal.
This antique lamp was a steal at $34.
$34! They paid $34 for this thing. I think we have very different definitions of what the word steal means. Adjusted for inflation, this lamp is worth nearly $70. Unless she actually meant she stole this, it is not a steal. You only have $500 and you blow nearly a tenth of the budget on a lamp. That is crazy. Let's move on to a living room the two find themselves decorating.
When we discussed what to do with the existing wall unit, our first idea was to set the television into it and add accessories. Way too predictable. So we rethought our decision. The TV will find a new position, and the wall unit will be used as a great display piece.
Okay, so they saw the owners have a wall unit, put the TV in where it fits almost perfectly, and then they say to themselves, that was just too predictable. That is where they want us to put the TV, in the TV-shaped space in the wall unit. We're not falling for it. That space right there cut out perfectly that has a little label on it that says TV, yeah, we're not gonna put it there. We're not doing that. This is like buying toilet scrubbers, taking the scrubber itself out and then using the base to hold I don't know, pencils or something like that. Oh wait, that's something they actually did.
A very happening plastic and chrome desk chair, only $6. And toilet brush sets? Wait a minute, we won't tell Amy that these are her pen and pencil holders. For $1 each, we couldn't pass up the bargain.
I hope these things weren't secondhand. I hope these things weren't also from a thrift shop. That specific color, those see-through, really vibrant plastics were just everywhere. I had a chair that was the same color as that. And I had so many little things like cups and all that stuff in the same colors. It's like they saw Game Boy do it and they were like, what if we made everything out of that plastic?
Oh yeah.
What if we made everything slightly see-through brittle plastic? Because that shit was really brittle as well. It was not good plastic. Anyway, so they decide they're gonna paint this wall unit and turn it into a display piece. And okay, I'll be honest, I actually like where this one's going. The color is a little bit different, but it's nice. It kind of reminds me of a matcha or something. This might be the first one I'm actually completely on board with.
Then we decoupaged sacred Indian prayers dipped in tea and torn to give an aged look onto the wall unit to give an old piece of furniture a trendy new look.
Sorry, what's good? Sorry, what? What's good? You did what now? You glued Indian prayers to this thing. Okay. Why? It was going so well. This thing now looks like something that would be a set piece on a post-apocalyptic movie now.
Next, we accessorized it. A black metal horse found at a local flea market for $12, fresh sunflowers, and an authentic cowboy hat perched on top of a $14 ammunition box.
God, it's just a bunch of bullshit. on top of bullshit, isn't it? What the fuck is any of this? Seriously. A hat on top of a wooden ammunition box? What kind of decorating is this? Are they Civil War veterans? And we decided to hang up some white sheets with a nice pointed white hat to add some southern charm to this space.
As we took a moment to admire our craft work, we unanimously decided we had made a mistake. The decoupage did work on the back of the shelf walls, but we felt it was much too busy on the door fronts. So we went to work undoing our mistake.
Oh, thank God that they realized they messed up. Honestly, this is the best decision that they've made.
We peeled, we scraped, and then in the process of removing the decoupage, we had a second pleasant surprise. We loved the distressed, aged look we had mistakenly created. We had planned on repainting the doors, but we loved this aged look.
What? Distressed aged look? I mean, that is one word for it. It looks exactly like what it is. You stuck some paper to it and tried to peel it off, but you couldn't get it all. You know what it looks like? It looks like when you try to peel the price tag sticker off of a video game, but you only take the top layer off and you're just left with the sticky residue and like the second layer of paper. It looks like the top right corner of every single video game I've ever purchased from EB Games. Try taking a pre-owned sticker off one of those bad boys. It is impossible to do without tearing the sticker. As you can tell, they do this a lot. They get old furniture and they give it a new coat of paint. Or Indian prayers sometimes. And they try and make it into something fresh and new, just like every guy in their 20s on Facebook Marketplace buying furniture and then reselling it. This is honestly probably where they got the idea in the first place. So far, we've only seen cabinets, but what happens when they try to DIY some curtains over the homeowner's existing windows to give them a little bit more privacy?
We then hung sheer cream fabric from beaded chrome shower curtain rings. The effect creates a soft, fluid look, transposed against the industrial quality of the rods.
Nothing about this screams soft or fluid at all. They're hanging so low, and the metal does not go with like the wooden frame of the windows at all. Why did they not just use wood? Is wood not cheaper? I call it prison chic. It cost them $100 to do this, by the way. $100, which adjusted for inflation is $200 today, which converted to Australian dollars is $300. I could buy a rare 2005 Furby Baby white and purple fur with bottle and box for that and still have money left over to buy a 1998 Furby Witch's Cat Silver Eyes with box partially working. This one does look like a prisoner of war, to be fair. He's got like that 1,000-yard stare. And Furbies always look like they're getting mugshots taken too. And for some reason, the eBay sellers always take a photo of their battery pack, and it just looks wrong, man. First the Furby feet, and then the most confronting photo of a Furby's battery pack you've ever seen. At least buy the Furby dinner first. Jesus, man. They need to start an OF account, man. Only Furbies. That is graphic. Somehow this is still one of the cheaper curtain rod installations that they've done on the show. On another episode, they said it cost them $160 for curtain rods and fabric for this.
Evenings. Total cost for labor and curtain rods, $160.
Oh, also, by the way, top curtains, yeah, they actually already existed and they were just installing the bottom ones. So, and it's like 2 windows. How did that cost $160? I think there must be some kind of a money laundering situation going on here because there is no way. I think Joan might have pocketed a 50. Anyway, back to the other room. I know I said prison chic before, but these other windows really do look like prison windows.
2 rods, one on top and one on the bottom to offer slightly more privacy from the outside world.
Why do you need them secured at the bottom like that on another rail? It looks like the owners are scared that Harry Potter is gonna like jump out the window into a flying car to go to Hogwarts or something like that. Why does it need to be that secure? Don't even get me started on the lamp here.
Next up, the lighting issue in this room. There isn't any overhead light, so we made some lamps to hang in front of the window. Thick industrial cord runs from a light bulb down the side of the wall, fastened with small screw hooks, spaced the same width as the stripes. Amazing. Greg is not an electrician, but he plays one on TV. He made this out of a lampshade, basically, right?
Well, a lampshade and a socket cord and plug, and left everything kind of exposed to give our high-tech look, and did it for all under $6-7.
Now, I'm no electrician. Wait, no, I actually am an electrician. I'm actually a licensed electrician. And I can safely say that looks terrible. That is not at all how you should install that thing. If I was to do this, and who am I to tell you what to do? What am I talking about? But I would have put the cable in the actual wall cavity and not have the cable run outside and just down the wall. The only time that you actually would do this is if the house was made of like brick and didn't have any actual internal wall cavities. Because this looks so bad and amateurish, it looks like this guy did it. And that's not a compliment. You know what would have been better than all of this? Buying a regular lamp on a stick, just a standing lamp. It had to have been an infinitely better option than this. I mean, it's gonna cost more just to patch up the holes in the wall than it would have to just buy a lamp. A standing lamp. These two have a history with windows. We've already seen what they do with curtains, but what do they do to a window that already has shades?
This simple window treatment is a birch branch found outdoors. 8 multicolored bandanas, $1 each, were knotted end to end. Then this colorful swag was draped over the birch bark branch. Total cost for the window, just $8.
You put a branch on the window? Did they find it right outside the house? What? Where did they get this branch from? They're just going to the property and they're like walking past and like, you know what, we should actually grab that. We should use that in one of the rooms. This could actually be good for later. It's not even on the ground. It's actually still attached to the tree. It's like the neighbor's tree and they just cut it down. The homeowners just come back and just see half their tree gone. Oh, what the? Oh.
Then this colorful swag was draped over the birch bark branch.
Why'd you call the bandana swag? Why'd you call it that? Do you think they're done there with finding branches outside and then repurposing them and bringing them inside? Well, think again, because they've done the same thing to a chest of drawers.
We added real birch hardware to the drawers to warm it up. An easy fix, just $50 for the hardware.
$50! $50 for some handles. How? Where did the money go? The handles look like they were found outside right next to the branch they put on the wall. How does that cost $50? Are the 2 screws that they used to screw the handles in like made of 18 karat gold or something? I wasn't going to include this part originally, but they start talking about the paint that they applied to the walls and the texture that they gave it. And this might be one of the saddest moments I have ever seen on TV. The Red Wedding has nothing on this moment.
Love this wall
Isn't this
treatment.
great?
It just gets better and better when it dries.
It looks like leather.
Yeah, and what I love about it when I think about my kids and I think about walls.
Man, dude, she just moved on completely from that moment. Just not even a chuckle. Was that an Australian accent she was trying out?
Looks like leather.
Because I think she did a good job. It looks like leather. You can see the moment where she has to like pull herself back a little bit. She's like, oh, I went a little bit too crazy there for a second. I'm sorry. I apologize. When you get a little too silly around that one serious friend. I've had this happen to me more times than I can count. Just when you think you're getting comfortable around a new person, you try something a little silly, you try a little and they just don't reciprocate at all. It's sad, man. It really is sad. I just thought I'd include it because I thought it was so unintentionally funny, but also like really sad. And I feel really bad for her now. Like, why didn't she laugh? Let me ask you a question. Maybe you can guess how Decorating Sense would solve this problem. Picture this. You've got a bathroom with a built-in set of shelves and drawers. You've painted the rest of the room green, but these drawers are white. What do you do? If you guess paint them green, you'd be wrong. Instead, have you ever thought about covering them with a curtain?
Let's tackle the biggest eyesore in this room, the uninspiring built-ins. Our mission here is to simply conceal them. We screwed this designer drapery rod to the angled ceiling and then attached 2 fabric shower curtains with plastic rings to the rod to create a window-like effect. Store-bought shower curtains are a nice alternative if you don't sew.
Yeah, just a random curtain in the middle of the bathroom that doesn't contain a shower in it. Sure. That is definitely something you don't see very much. A curtain that covers like a cupboard, but also just like in the bathroom for some reason. Honestly though, once they added this shelf next to it, it actually doesn't look that bad, you know, giving credit where credit is due. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think they kind of nailed it with the curtain. Here's another question for you. You need a chair for your bathroom, but you've only got $20 and a shower curtain. What do you do? And no, before you answer, it is not painting a fake chair on the wall. Well, Decorating Sense has the answer.
What we've done is created a great bathroom chair. What we've done with this piece here is just use a simple old folding chair form, something you probably have in your basement or in your garage that you don't use very often.
Sure.
So by taking a very large terry cloth towel and putting it over the piece, you've really got the look started. But the key to doing this is using a queen-size pillow or pillow on the chair itself.
Yeah, the answer to that one is getting a chair that you already have, putting a pillow from your bedroom on it, and then wrapping it in like a towel-like fabric. I'll be honest here, man. Maybe this is just my opinion. What the hell? That looks so bad. That does not look good. This honestly reminds me of some arts and crafts of my own that I did when I was about 8 years old. I had a plastic chair that had no support, and I basically did this exact same thing. I put one of my pillows from my bed under me and then threw a towel over it so I could actually sit in my chair at my desk without my back exploding. They also do just general decorating tips, you know, not so much repainting cupboards or putting curtains in bathrooms, stuff that just adds a little spice to already existing things, like this vase.
On the buffet, we placed a $10 clear glass vase filled to the brim with real lemons, water, and forsythia branches. Now you could harvest something similar from your yard.
Why is it so tall? It's touching the roof. And why are there lemons in the bottom of this vase? So many questions. Are those lemons gonna rot eventually and then you're gonna have to like take it all out and you're gonna have to like take the lemons out and then like put new ones in?
Look at the lovely effect you can create with a simple bowl of fresh lemons and moss.
Those lemons look like they're rotting. It looks like they have scarlet rot on them right now. It looks like Oscar the Grouch is living in that bowl. I could go on and on. Basically what I'm saying, I'm not a big fan of the moss and lemon in a china bowl, personally. I know I joked before about painting a chair on the wall if you didn't have one, but that's ridiculous. Now apply that same principle to a rug in the living room. Yeah, that's right. They painted a rug in the living room, just painted on the floor.
The bright colors work like magic to cover up the scratches on the wood floor. And we made a simple diamond stencil out of paper to create the decoration around the border. And to protect it, we painted polyurethane over the dried paint. Doggies beware, this rug isn't going anywhere.
This rug isn't going. I wish it would go somewhere. Looks like the magic carpet. I gotta commend them. It's definitely thinking out of the box or out of the paint can, if you will. I never would have thought of painting a rug on the floor, probably because it's like semi-permanent now. How do you get that off? If the owners don't like that, how do you remove that? They just coated it in polyurethane as well, so it's in there. Now, if you ever want to rearrange your room or change the furniture, you cannot. You have to work around this rug because this thing is a permanent resident in your house now. But the renovation doesn't end there. No, they have so much more to do to this room. They paint some ceramic scarves and attach them to each corner of like the living room arch.
Now, only 6 yards of lightweight fabric pulled up, through, around, and back again gives us just the pop this doorway needs.
Just the pop this doorway needs? What pop? Are we looking at the same doorway here, man? This shit isn't even hung like symmetrical at all. But the DIY still doesn't stop there because they build their own mantle to put in the corner for some reason. And this thing, I know I said before as well, like, hey, this thing looks straight out of a movie set. This thing looks straight out of a movie set. This thing is not secured to the ground. This thing will fall over. It looks so dinky and lightweight. You could just push this thing over. This is a child safety hazard. And the thing about set pieces is they always look better on camera in the movie. When you see them in real life, you're like, oh, that's definitely fake. So I can only imagine what this looks like in real life. This thing cannot look very good. You know, seeing that painted on rug really reminds me of like a kindergarten, you know, like when I used to go to preschool, which made me think they must be really good at doing kids' rooms because they love painting. They love painting on the walls. They love arts and crafts, all things that would be great for a kid's room. Well, this is one of the kids' rooms that they decorated.
Placed the white metal bunk beds with this 4-poster bed found at a garage sale for only $8 to open up more space in this small room.
Yeah, so why is that like the worst paint job I've ever seen in my entire life? This almost rivals the Indian prayer cupboard. Like, seriously. I'm honestly surprised that the bed frame they wheeled in wasn't that creepy one from that Simpsons episode that Bart has to sleep in. It's like kind of like circus themed, but the whole watercolored paint thing just makes it look so much worse. Well, that's gonna have to do it for me here. I had a lot of fun watching this show and talking to you guys about it and sharing it with you. If I had access to this show, I would love to watch every season of it. This is like a guilty pleasure for me. I think this show is so entertaining. Like I said at the start of this video, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if the homeowners came in and they were happy with this, then that's great. And even if you guys like some of these designs, then that's totally cool too. I'll be honest. I kind of like some of them too. Not the striped kid's bedroom. Not the striped kid's bedroom, please. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment of a little house emoji if you made it this far in the video. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.